Good afternoon, Sin City. This is Sam Dever, host of the Social Media Show. We have a very special guest with us today, George Quinn. George, welcome to the show, sir.
Yo, man, what's going on, man?
Not much. It's a pleasure to have you here. For people that don't know you, tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you do out here in Vegas?
In Vegas, I have a production company, a music producer, and I help startup companies deal with their branding. So, yeah.
So a lot of marketing, things like that?
Yeah. Marketing, just, getting the right situations for, their demographics and just, setting it up and, getting up and running. So,
Okay, very cool. Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from LA, but I've been traveling back and forth from like Central Valley up north, like San Francisco and LA, since forever. So, yeah, man.
What brought you to Vegas? What was the move?
Vegas, I moved out here the first time I moved out here, I was 20. I got signed by a record label.
Nice.
And before that, I was recording orchestras at my university at CSU Stanislaus, and saw the opportunity and then started producing and managing a record label at 20.
Wow, very cool.
Everything from just recording, songwriting, setting up studio sessions, managing 4 artists. I mean, from a young age, I don't know, it was a pretty interesting thing, So had mess ups and good times, and but it's an awesome experience.
So it sounds like you've had a pretty diversified career in the music industry, from making beats to managing people. I mean, that's what it seems like to me.
Yeah. I mean, how it all came, from my understanding, I was in a boy gospel band, from 11 years old to 17. And then from there, I just had a different perspective on just, seeing how it, worked. So, that's
Absolutely. What's been your favorite part about the ride so far in music production? Like, what's your favorite sort of specific area that you like the most?
Well, yeah, working with kids more than anything. Just growing up in a boy band from a young age. Now I have a 10-year-old artist that's been on tour for the last 6 months.
Oh, very cool.
His name's Will B, but mostly right now what he does is a Broadway musical. So I'm going on the road with him in about 2 weeks. So I'll be recording and producing with him on the road. So he's like my little brother. So it's pretty cool. So
is it the next Justin Bieber, perhaps?
I would say he's talented and there's a lot of potential, and it's just choosing, where we want to put him as far as, because like I said, he's doing Broadway,
Right.
musical, at 10 years old. So that being said, him, Justin Bieber, I mean, it's 2 different worlds. So, I mean, it could potentially be something greater, it could potentially not. So, I mean,
Absolutely.
It's a very interesting situation for the kid and myself. So,
oh, that's very cool. We'll be on the lookout for him for sure.
Man. Yeah.
Sounds good. Now you also do marketing and branding for people. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, so example, as you know, this nation is based upon a culture that is shaped through entertainment.
Right.
So as far as dealing with foreign companies and establishing their businesses here in America, as far as in fashion, because fashion and music go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
So as far as having a support system, if you have an artist, so one thing that I've seen fashion brands do a lot now from one of my past clients is also start a record label within the brand. So that being said, having all the resources set as far as distribution, going to Magic, going to trade shows, having all the buyers set, how do you outlet and how do you influence, your demographic that you're trying to target? So music takes a big toll. So as far as in collaborating, the whole Magic, the whole fashion, everyone in the entertainment business has to be up to date with fashion. So most of these celebrities, most of these, artists go to these fashion events, throughout the world. So, I mean, just being able to see that and experience it firsthand, it just gives me a wider spectrum on how to handle and just set things and, proceed and, make things happen. So.
And the fashion, Kanye West pops in my head because he's a guy I know that really threw himself in. You see he's in Paris now going to fashion shows and really dove into it. And I myself have just noticed, you hit it on the head, the relation of music and fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And once you start dabbling in fashion a little bit, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Really cool how it all breaks down.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to work with one of the leading urban streetwear brands from Beijing, China. It's called Boys New York. So bringing them here in America, that was a very, very good, thing to put in my, resume. So as far as establishing that, the whole culture about like the streetwear, hip hop, all that, one of the mainstream, just how you have Las Vegas Strip, for just the party life. Well, the fashion, culture, Fairfax out in LA. I don't know if you heard of that, but that's like where every mainstream brand's at. Like, you have Diamond, you have a Pink Dolphin, you have Dope, now you have Boys New York. So like every mainstream like hip hop or anything, that's the place to be, as far
So
as the whole
Fairfax.
culture. Fairfax Avenue, yeah,
Okay, cool.
in LA. So that's where it's at, man. And the whole culture, all that. I mean, kind of shifting from gospel, hip hop, then doing like working with kids again. It just makes me and gives me a feel of just what mainstream and really influencing really is all about, in a positive outlook.
No, absolutely.
So.
And we are the social media show. So after we just talked about everything you're involved in, how are you using social media to incorporate into your business and what you do?
Well, as far as that goes, I mean, it's always a collaborative effort as long as you have something valuable to showcase to another. I mean, if it's not trade, it's monetizing or just using the money as your form of trade.
Right.
But if you are a person of value and have the resources and assets to create a mutual like progression as far as getting to different places and creating new business opportunities. I mean, it's all joint ventures that you create with people that you can relate to. So it could be anything from buyers, from anything. But at the end of the day, like my ultimate goal that I'm working on is my thesis for Harvard, and it all relates to that. It's a biogeometric thesis on relativity through pragmatism. And I know that's just a big word, but all that sums up how I think and how I'm able to be and do, what is progressing, as far as a certain type of mentality. That's kind of like where I'm at right now. But to simplify all that down, it's just communicating, putting yourself out there, dedicating long hours and what you feel in your heart that you need to express. And then from there, eventually you'll learn the business aspect, if it just takes a lot of toe. If like one thing I learned is that I could sit all day and read and do books and all that, but not until I take action and I'm physically there
Right.
is when I'll know, this is how it will be. Because in every certain type of situation, there's always different ways how you handle business. That's one thing I've learned hand in hand dealing with founders. Like headphone companies. Like there's this brand that I did marketing for. It's called Boom Phones. They're the first headphones that turn into a boombox.
Really?
So at a push of a button, they turn into a boombox. So the beginning stages of that, I helped them market and put them in a nationwide network, and reached out to 2.1 million viewers.
Wow.
And that specific episode, there were 250 students across the country from different universities that actually got the opportunity to have these headphones in their hands, and this TV show is called Let's Make a Deal with Wayne Brady.
Oh, absolutely.
So, I got the headphones there. And, just little things like that, marketing and being involved, and then how I started off with that. Milo Stokes, he's very awesome. He's an innovator. His dad created the group B2K with Omarion.
Absolutely.
They went worldwide. And me and him worked together. And, from there, it evolved a good, strong relationship in the industry. So, just seeing that, and doing stuff like that, I have to take my own route and establish my own. So that's kind of like where it's at right now. So, I mean, it's working, man, but it's just a process,
Very cool, man. Well, no,
Yeah.
thank you for coming on today.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you seem to be a man of many talents and involved in many things with a lot of experience. And thesis at Harvard, that sounds pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's a lifetime work,
Right.
It's just a long process, and I'm down for the ride. So
Awesome. Well, where can the people find you at? On your Twitter, Facebook? Where can they find you?
yeah, you can find me on Instagram. That's basically what I use now.
Okay.
One George Quinn.
Okay, cool. Well, George, thank you so much for coming on, sir.
Oh,
We
man.
greatly appreciate it.
I
We'll be looking
appreciate it,
forward to
man.
all your projects here in the future.
Thanks, man.